Hi guys, Mehdi Hasan is a British-American broadcaster and commentator who has become something of a household name of late. Now, he mainly covers Middle Eastern and American politics, but he had this fascinating interview with TWT World, a Turkish broadcaster, where he discussed what's happening in the US at the moment as Americans head to the polls in just less than a week. The entire interview was very interesting. However, I want to share with you a segment towards the end which contained a concerning parallel that we're seeing both in the UK and European politics, something being imported from the US. Have a listen.
The really worrying sign, Imran, is the people who say, yeah, he is a dictator. We want a dictator.
Yeah.
We want someone. I don't know if you saw Tucker Carlson's comments a couple of days ago. He talked about Trump is the dad, the father, daddy, who comes home and takes a belt and beats his daughter. We are the daughter who needs beating. This is the kind of language they're using on the right currently. They are desperate for an authoritarian. And Imran, you are not in the US right now. Your audience, global audience. America is not immune from global fascistic authoritarian trends. Around the world right now, there are many people who are craving a strong man to give them certainty in an age of uncertainty. Right. And I would say at least 20 to 30% of Americans probably fall in that basket.
And part of the reason why many people are craving that daddy is because there's a culture war taking place. Yep. And that probably underpins the rise of some of these influencers that are emerging online with massive followings and so on. So you've got US power declining. It's a superpower, but maybe not for much longer. And you've got a culture war happening within the US. How would you define that culture war, which is the backdrop to this election?
So yeah, I'm uncomfortable with the culture war framing because it implies there's two equal sides who have picked a fight. And I know that's what the right want you to believe. But actually, a lot of this is simply right-wing grievance mongering as a way of distracting from the fact that the conservative agenda is hugely unpopular. Americans don't want tax cuts for billionaires. Americans do want universal health care. America doesn't want government subsidies for corporations. The United States does not want to, as much as they're worried about immigration, most Americans don't want racist policies towards immigrants, didn't want child separation at the border. And I think it's really important to understand that what we've seen over the last 4 years, what color is that, what boots is the green M&M wearing? What does Mr. Potato Head look like? All this, is Dr. Seuss being censored? Are college kids too left wing? All this crap that we're getting is a bunch of right wingers cynically, strategically, ruthlessly, relentlessly pushing quote unquote culture wars arguments as a way of distracting from the fact that they have nothing to offer white working class voters in quote unquote left behind areas. Like the people who vote for Trump, who are from the poorer demographics, less educated demographics, they're not getting anything material in return. I mean, Imran, you saw the Donald Trump stunt the other day in the closed down McDonald's, where he handed out fries and burgers to people and said, wow, genius, this is blue collar Donald Trump. But at the McDonald's, a reporter asked him, do you support raising the minimum wage? That's all that matters, right? Everything else is just a photo op. Policy, do you support raising the minimum wage? Trump dodged it because he doesn't support raising the minimum wage. The Republican Party does not support raising the minimum wage. So when you have a group of people who are not going to benefit financially, materially, educationally from a Trump presidency, all they're going to get is owning the libs, right?
And there we have it. And I've been saying this for so long. The culture wars are a Trojan horse to lower taxation for the richest in society, fewer regulations to protect the environment, to protect workers, to protect consumers. This is what it's all about. See, the richest in society know that they can't convince the poorest in society to go ahead with cuts to public services or cuts to taxes for the richest in society or more funneling of cash to the corrupt. They know they can't sell that. So instead, what they do is they invest in right-wing outlets. They support right-wing commentators who will push this culture war as a Trojan horse, as I said, to get policies that benefit the richest in society into the mainstream. We hear it all the time. You see it on GB News as well. Oh my goodness, they're going to increase inheritance tax when very, very few people end up paying inheritance tax. They rant and rave about capital gains tax, when of course it's something that affects the richest in society more than anyone else. But what it's about is creating an atmosphere where politicians will of course move to the right in order to deal with these culture wars. And of course, their economic policies will move to the right as well. Cutting taxes for the rich, reducing regulations, cutting protections for workers, the environment, consumers, get rid of all of that. You hear it from Tories like Jacob Rees-Mogg and others who say about all this red tape, all this regulation, we need to get rid of it. The whole driving force behind Brexit, they say, is to free Britain up. To free it up to do what? To allow politicians to achieve what goal? So, of course, they can't sell cuts to public services and tax cuts for the rich to the public this way. So they have to find another way of achieving that. It's really concerning because it's coming from the US. These culture wars, this quote-unquote woke ideology that's been constantly pushed on the likes of GB News and Talk TV, and it's even finding its way onto Sky News and other outlets, mainstream outlets as well. Are we too woke? Oh, what are we doing that's wrong? Why aren't we doing X, Y, and Z? Instead of actually focusing on real issues like the cost of living crisis, the NHS, these are issues that really concern people. And politicians who can't actually offer something that's beneficial to society will hide behind this culture war. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. And I'll leave a link in the description to this entire interview. I do recommend checking it out.